yeah. This is the outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
What's going on? This is The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. This is the first podcast since I have transitioned it from YouTube. I decided that people my age and other millennials, I am 30 years old, by the way, and other millennials are at work and you guys have things to do, and so do I. And it's hard to watch a YouTube video, so you can definitely have headphones at work so you can sneak and listen to this while you're at work, or you can listen to it on your commute to and from work. So I thought it would be accommodating for everybody. And I'm super excited because I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing. I don't have to worry about sweating. I don't have to worry about shit in my eyes. It's better for everyone. So I hope you enjoy The Outline as a podcast. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kevin Dwayne. I am a content creator living in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also a photographer, comedic blogger. I just do a little bit of everything. So I guess I'll add podcaster to that list because, something has to pop off. Something has to pop off. You hear me? So this is what I do. Just a disclaimer. I'm cool with everyone coming in and listening and, hearing a different perspective and all that good stuff. But I should let you know that I am a black, gay, and proud man. And none of that shit's going to change. So if you do have an issue with that, now would be the time to opt out, okay? Because it's only going to go downhill from here, in my opinion. So whatever. So let's hop into it. So this week in social media, there have been several things, but three that have been very, very popular on the timeline. Number one is Trump's wife, Melania. She decided to embrace her inner Robin Thicke, Vanilla Ice, Iggy Azalea, Justin Timberlake, and, hijack 2 paragraphs of Michelle Obama's speech, and she said them verbatim. And the craziest shit about this is the fact that people were defending her and making excuses. Not that I'm surprised by it, because we do live in a world where, people can be shot dead and it'll be on videotape and the cops will still get off. So why in the hell would we care if somebody stole someone's speech? You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous how people get away with stuff. So I was just like, okay, this is dumb as hell that you couldn't write a speech on your own, or at least have people. Like, there are people who write speeches. Like, this had to go through other people. And that also leads me to think that we're being trolled. It seems like a huge setup because there's things that Trump has stolen, and it seems like it's one big joke, and you almost turn a deaf ear to it at a certain point. The world is just crazy right now, and I don't know, but whatever, girl. You stole that. It's cool. Michelle's popping. We know it. She drops Hot 16. She has dope bars, and you wanted a part of that. It's okay, girl, but don't sit here and try to act like it was just common words. I think that's what kind of grinded my gears with that. The people in the campaign were like, oh, they're just common words. No, plagiarism 101 tells you to use synonyms and change the phrases around. She didn't do that. There are videos of her saying it the same time as Michelle verbatim. Silliness, absolute silliness, but whatever, girl. But I think they're spinning it now. They're saying, TMZ were saying, oh no, she only did it because she admires Michelle Obama. Does she? Okay, girl, whatever. They're thieves. We know that. Good luck, girl. I don't see it for you. Trump damn sure ain't getting my vote. I'm not stumping for Trump, and I hope none of my listeners are stumping for Trump. If you are, this really isn't the podcast for you, girl. But yeah, that's that. Another thing that has been in media is Pokemon Go. People have been pretty much split on this game. I really don't get why it's so much drama. Like, it's a game, and there's people who are enjoying themselves playing it. I haven't played it because Pokemon kind of creep me out with all their tentacles and little things that they have on them. They're just weird looking to me. So I'm not fucking with it, but I'm not knocking anybody else who enjoys it. There are a lot of people I know who are having a good time. And I think with all that is going on in the world, let people have some fun, period. There's this whole idea that it's a distraction, which is bullshit because we're humans. We have evolved brains. We can focus on many things at once. You don't have to be miserable all damn day yelling Black Lives Matter and reposting and retweeting shit. You can enjoy yourself too. Everyone has something that they do to get their minds off of things. And if you don't, you should totally find some things to do. I'll give some suggestions in our mental moment at the end of the show of things you can do to disconnect. But you should find something that you like to do. So I am more annoyed by the people who keep talking about people enjoying themselves. Like, you're wasting your time on social media, like trying to shame these people for having a good time. What I think is dope about this game is the fact that it's like a huge community of people playing it. Like, you can go to Piedmont Park in Atlanta and there are a bunch of people there like catching these things. And I think that's dope. There's been video of people in Central Park in New York, and it's a cool moment for the universe. We have so much tension and so much strife going on. Let people have their fun. Do not yuck their yum, girl. Calm the fuck down, please. So shout out to all the Pokemon Go players. Like I said, I'm not fucking with it because, you know, they kind of freak me out. Pikachu's kind of cute though, but the other ones I can't do it. But hey, it's a game. Enjoy yourself. I understand. And the other thing that I'm not even going to spend that much time on, because I honestly do not care, is the Taylor Swift, Kanye, Kardashian situation that's happening between Taylor being a liar, and we all knew that, and being fake and being exposed. And I mean, it's cool. That's kind of what she gets, because everything seems like a joke with Taylor. And shout out to 1989, because I actually liked 1989 a lot. That album was actually really good. It was like a zeitgeist of everything that was going on. But at the same time, I see that she's fake, you know? Like, and I think a lot of people saw that. And it was time she got exposed for once for playing this game. She plays her privilege so well. And it's so annoying. Like, everything about her is just, like when she gets an award, she always wins awards. Oh my God, I can't believe I won this award. The way she has friends on her payroll so she can have girls to kick it with. This whole romance thing she has going on just so she can write her next album. It's all very much draining. So it was nice to have one moment where, you know, hey girl, you know, you got called out. And that's all I have to say about that. Enjoy that moment. People are going to defend her any damn way. Why? Because she's Taylor Swift. So whatever. Other things that I've seen that I haven't really looked into, but I still wanted to mention in case you know something about it. Bill Cosby is apparently blind now and living in his own personal hell because of all the stress of, you know, the rape allegations and all that stuff. But as I said, I haven't really looked into that, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but that's kind of what's happening on the timeline right now, and I'm sure you guys have seen the same things. If there's anything else that you've seen, let me know. Send it to theoutlinetopics@gmail.com, and that way I can kind of peruse and see what I'm missing out on. But my main topic today is about hooking up and dating and, you know, hookup apps. And this is more catered to gay men because I am a gay man. So, I mean, if you are straight, if you can relate, that's totally dope. And I know that some of you can because I do have straight friends. And a lot of their experiences are the same when it comes to using like Tinder and Match and Jack'd and Grindr and all of these apps. There was an article that was posted on newernegroes.com. Let me verify that right now before I give you the wrong information. Yep, it was newernegroes.com, and it was Yolo Akil, who was actually a friend of mine. He interviewed a therapist, and they were talking about the emotional consequences of gay dating apps. It's called Hooking Up and Checking Out. And I thought it was an amazing article because it's so relevant and so true. And it's also something that I have kind of been toying with forever, to be honest with you. I mean, before, just a little background, I was in a long-term relationship for a couple years, and we ended it last August. And so it's almost a year that I've been single. So, I've had my taste of the apps and all that stuff. And my perspective has changed after the relationship more than it has before. And so a lot of the things that were said in this article were very much true. And I'll just read you one part here that I thought was interesting. Akil was actually asking Nathaniel Curry. And as I said before, Nathaniel Curry was as a therapist. And he's in Washington, D.C., and he has extensive clinical and community-based experience with Black and Latino gay men. And so they explore some questions on how online culture can help connect us, but also at the same time bring issues and, sexual compulsivity and just tons of things. So one thing that stood out to me was Akil posed this question to Curry. He said, "Many hookup apps encourage the sharing of stats and measurements in a manner that puts us in direct competition with other bodies on the market. How have you seen this show up in our communities?" Curry responded, "Too many times I have had men come into my office and make statements about people or themselves based on pictures they have seen of other people posted on social media, or compare themselves to men they find attractive. Stats and measurements are not just ways to identify how someone might measure up in terms of attractiveness, but in gay bi culture, it is a way of qualifying people. As to say a person is placed in some sort of hierarchy based on levels of fitness, attractiveness, and body shape. The bombarding of images is overwhelming to even the most confident, well-adjusted individual. I don't know how anybody could not fall victim to some sort of ego self-doubt in this day and age." And let me tell you, it's so true. And I'm going to speak from my experiences before my last relationship and after my last relationship. In my early 20s, I certainly had issues with self-esteem. Certainly had this kind of thing where I wanted to be validated by other people. And that caused me to kind of be on the gay treadmill, as they call it. When, you want to be super, super fit. And even when you're fit, it's not enough. If you're slightly overweight, you feel like you're being rejected by everyone because there's a really shallow energy out there. But once, I got in my relationship and kind of found myself and learned to love myself and to love me wherever I am, it, number one, allowed me to be healthier, but it also allowed me not to be so hard on myself when I don't look the way I want to look, but it's not based on someone else's view of me, if that makes sense. So I can totally see how draining these apps are, because on the apps, it's literally about how you look. People are looking at your profile picture. If you have one, they're looking at, the filters you use, your measurements. They're looking at height and weight. They're trying to figure out, like, oh, well, you say you're 5'8" and 175 pounds. And then, they want to see 18 pictures before meeting. And it's just, there's this whole culture that really does make you feel like you're disposable, because on a lot of these apps, there's like, Jack, for instance, it's a screen, it's a grid with just men and bodies and penises and butts everywhere. And you're just literally just comparing and seeing if any of them are a match. And I think that does cause us to have issues in relationships, and we have a hard time really making things connect. Like, I've seen it happen, when issues arise, let me slow down. Let's say you meet someone on one of these apps, and this is not for everyone. This is not even a generalization, but for example, so let's say you meet someone on one of these apps and it was based on physical attraction. You guys meet, there's typically the conversation of how close you look to your picture and how you don't. Like, oh, you look a lot like your picture. Oh, you don't look nothing like your picture. You look better in person. Oh, you look worse. A lot of people won't say that, but some people think it. They'll tell their friends, like, girl, he was a mud duck. Like, I don't even know why the fuck he used that picture. I got catfished. But there's that idea because it starts off shallow. Like, for example, one of the biggest things that I've heard pretty much while I've been dating since I was 18. Yeah, 18. And the thing I always hear when it comes to meeting someone online is that I look taller in my pictures. So people see me like, oh wow, you're short. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm 5'6". I guess I'm short. I mean, it's whatever. I'm used to it. I don't really care. But I always think about like, I wonder if you had like a certain fantasy in mind when you saw me, when you saw me online, did you think, oh, this guy's going to be tall? I want, like you always think about how you play into someone's fantasies, because that's really what it is online. I've learned it's like people are trying to fulfill these weird ass fantasies. A lot of them are based on porn, in my opinion. If you watch enough porn, you'll start to kind of, you get these images in your head of how you want men to look, but you don't realize that those men are drugged up and pumped. And there's like no one's just out here looking like that. And even when you meet them, they're smaller in person. So whatever. So everything starts with this whole shallow beginning. There's this idea of looks that you start with, but what I've also noticed is it's very non-committal. You can talk to somebody, they can seem cool, but as soon as a small issue or disagreement arises, it's a wrap, because these apps and these things teach us that men and women come a dime a dozen, and if you're within the safe age or weight range, you can get away with just being like, oh, whatever, fuck you, I'm moving on to the next person, I'll just continue looking. And that is very problematic. And I think a lot of people take that into their relationships when they do get to that point, because there's always this world out there. There's always this idea that there's fish in the sea, and there's just, another bus coming, and all those other cliche terms that we use. And I see it all the time. And I also want to dig deeper into the whole non-committal thing. Since I've been on my relationship, I have tried my best to just kind of be single. That doesn't mean I haven't, dated and kind of talk to people and, entertain the idea, but I knew that I needed at least a year of solitude and singlehood. I needed to just find myself, and I mean, not find myself, but just enjoy myself and do what I want and not have to check in and not have to play mind games. And relationships can do a lot of that to you, and even dating can drain you if you allow it to. But from the guys that I have talked to, I have noticed a lot of the same patterns. And one thing is just this kind of nonchalance that a lot of men have. And even I do too. I've adapted to it. I've learned to kind of just be like, oh, it is what it is. So you meet someone, you guys can totally like each other, but there's this whole idea that, oh, you're probably going to fuck up. You're probably going to, be like the other people, and I'm not going to take you seriously, like, ever. And that's very problematic. And I myself am guilty of that sometimes too. And it gets you nowhere. Even the way that we communicate with one another is very non-committal. We don't even use full words. It's abbreviations and, and it's just acronyms, WYD and GM. I just told someone a couple nights ago, I said, listen, if you want to talk to me, you need to use full words. I can't get to know you if you don't allow me to get to know you. We cannot talk in acronyms all the time. I mean, in this day and age, people don't want to talk on the phone. They don't want to have conversations. And that's because of social media. I mean, you're online all day having discussions with strangers and people in your family. And it just, when it comes time to get to know someone, people feel like they don't owe them that. And I think that's why we aren't able to secure these successful relationships. I mean, social media versus social skills. And a lot of millennials and the younger millennials, actually, the people that were born after the internet was popping, after MySpace and all around that time, they're really losing their ability to have meaningful conversations. Like it's literally all about emojis and these damn acronyms. And you never get to a point where you can really, really discuss things with one another. And that certainly frightens me, especially now that I'm 30. And it's going to sound really crazy. And I know people are going to be like, shut up, Kevin, what are you talking about? But I already feel the walls kind of closing in on my pool of eligible men, if that makes sense. It's like, it seems like when I turned 30, I literally got put in this box of like, oh, okay, you're older now, because, we can be very shallow, and it's like, oh, you're 30. And like, I keep meeting these younger guys, not on purpose and not because I want to, but that's what I've been attracting. And as soon as I tell them I'm 30, it's like this kind of like, oh, well, it's cool. I like older dudes. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's not that old. But I also know that, when I was under 25, I thought 30 was old too. So it's just payback for that shit. So whatever. But I am noticing that the options do seem a little fewer, but that's also because I know what I want to, and I refuse to settle. And so I'm not here for just the average hookup. And if I don't feel an immediate connection, I'm not about to even entertain a date or a conversation, like I know now who I am as a person. I know what type of person I would need in my life to work as a counterpart, because, we don't have time to play these games with incompatible people, like not at all. Like, and that's what comes from being secure and finding yourself. Don't be in a relationship just to be in one. But more about, just this whole idea of the apps. And so let's talk about a little bit more. I want you guys to read the article on Newer Negroes. I will find somewhere to post it on one of the platforms that the podcast is on, so you can go and read it for yourselves, because it's really good. Shout out to YOLO for giving this great interview. But I also wanted to talk more about just my experience with these apps. Let's take Tinder, for example. So when I first got out of my relationship, I hopped on Tinder because I was like, I don't really want to go into the, the more sexual apps like Grindr and Jack, because I didn't want to return to a promiscuous lifestyle. I did that in my early 20s. It was like, I was, whatever, you hook up with people, whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I want to have meaningful connections with people. So I was like, let me try a different platform. Tinder is not about like, you have to show a face pic. It has to be connected to your Facebook, and it just seems a little more reliable. Now, here's the thing. It's all about, I think it's all about ego on Tinder, because, okay, you're swiping left on people you don't like, which I do a lot of. And then when you swipe right, if they like you back, you have a match. What I noticed was I was getting hell of matches, and I was excited because these motherfuckers were fine. I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, it's a match. Oh, let's see what he's talking about. When I tell you the conversation would go nowhere 98% of the time, nowhere. It was literally a game. People just wanted to feel like they were wanted. I really feel that way. Like, it was like, okay, all right, we matched. All right, moving on. I'm gonna keep playing the game. And Tinder calls itself a game. It's like, oh, do you want to talk to this person or do you want to keep playing? See, I'm like, the fact that you say keep playing means it's a game. And so literally you're just matching with these people and no one's having conversations, which takes me into another point. I feel like a lot of men, and like I said, I am a gay black man. I can only give my perspective. So if you have a different perspective, please let me know. But I feel like we have a lot of men who only want to be approached. They want the other person to initiate everything. But the problem with that is if we all feel that way, nothing's going to get done. And I had to get out of my own way with that. I realized as I got older that if I was interested in somebody, I had to go ahead and just say, hey, what's up? Like, I'm interested. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's an ego thing. Everyone's so afraid of rejection. Like, rejection is healthy. Rejection makes things real. You can't go through life thinking that everyone is for you And you also can't go through life thinking everyone is against you. You may be surprised that when you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I think you're kind of cute, and they say, hey, I've been crushing on you for like the last 2 years, you'd be shocked at what you find if you just remove that fear. You can't live like that. And I know it's hard for people. So everyone at a club is against the wall because they want everybody to come up to them. And you just got to get out of that. So that frustration came with Tinder. And I also see it a lot with when you close the deal, when you actually meet somebody and you get their phone number, you start talking to them, you'll begin to see who's running the conversation. It's just where we are right now. Like, there's a lot of times where I feel like if I don't reach out to certain people, I'm not going to hear from them. But that's not going to last long because I don't play that. I usually tell people, like, listen, like, it takes two. Like, show your interest and I'll show mine. And don't wait until I disappear on your ass to be like, oh, hey, like, I miss you. No, it doesn't work that way. It needs to be 50-50 the whole way down. And it's literally the space that we're in right now. And what can you do? What can you do? I know that there are people out there who have social skills. I know it. Like, I'm friends with them. And another thing, why is it that we treat our friends so much better than we treat possible suitors? Like, we'll talk to our friends on the phone. We'll explain things to them. We'll have full conversations with them. But when it comes to what you're trying to get to know, it's back to these damn acronyms and emojis. Like, we have to give more if we want more. And that's pretty much what I'm waiting for when it comes around again. But until then, I'm going to chill the hell out and enjoy being single because it's fun. It's summertime. You know, pool parties every weekend. Music is good right now. Life is good right now. So being single is the way to go right now. So I'm not tripping. Come winter, I may be looking for a boo. Let me know. We can see what we can do. But that's where I'm at right now. So let me know what you think about, you know, social media and hooking up apps and emotional consequences and your experiences. Send that to theoutlinetopics@gmail.com, or you can @ me on Twitter, The World of Kevin. Find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. And with closing, we're going to have a mental health moment because mental health is important. And I feel like it's not talked about enough, especially among the Black community. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this week, and she was asking me, she was like, what are some things that you do to disconnect from all the drama? And I was ready because I have tons of things I do to disconnect from drama. I literally do. And when I mean by drama, I don't mean like personal drama. I mean like social media, you know, all the things that have happened with the police brutality and the murders and Trump's doing crazy shit, all of that. What do you do to disconnect? Number one, I turn off Facebook. I delete the apps off of my phone for a couple days. It's never long, just a couple days, because you'd be surprised at the peace you get, but you'll also be surprised at how much you are separated from things. It's like this quietness, and you really can miss out on some things, but don't be afraid of that. You need that peace every now and then. I like to watch old 90s television and movies. Like, you know, I like to watch Martin and Golden Girls and Will and Grace and Sex and the City. I collect vinyl. I play music. I have coloring books for adults. That is a great therapeutic thing to do. I smoke hookah. I work out. I go running. I go swimming. Let's see. I play little games on my phone. Like, there are so many things that you can do to just enjoy yourself. Another pastime that I've just kind of gotten on is I love the Travel Channel and Food Network a lot. Like, I can just watch those because those are like the two channels, and Animal Planet. Those are like the three channels that you can watch. And there's like no racial bias. There's no tension. Like, it's about food. It's about traveling. It's about animals. And it's just light. It's not reality TV. It's not like, you literally can just be. You have a glass of wine and just be. Maybe try some of the recipes. Cooking's another way to separate. So tell me, what are some of you guys' ways of disconnecting from the tension that we're feeling right now? Because there's a lot going on right now, you guys. Like, the world is so crazy. And I know that it goes in cycles, but right now just seems so wild. But you got to do what you got to do, but protect your peace. Protect your peace. Well, we made it through our first podcast together of The Outline. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you guys next week. Or actually, I will be speaking to you guys next week. But thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you sharing this moment with me. Yeah, that's it. Peace out.